Today we are broadcasting from the Keeping the Blues Alive Mediterranean cruise. And we're going to play some songs, and we're going to sit down and have a chat with one of my favorite artists of all time, a man that I've known 25 years, and a man that I personally think, it's just one guy talking, is probably, if not, arguably the greatest guitar player on the planet. And I am referring to my friend, Mr. Eric Gales. Please welcome to the stage. Eric, thank you very much for being here. We were chatting backstage and I was avoiding all the pressing questions that I have because, you know, when I met you, not to make this all about me, is we were in Birmingham, Alabama, and we were playing a radio show. I was in a band called Bloodline, and in the afternoon, we were at W blah, 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 talking about our record that sold blah, blah, blah. Right? You know, 16 copies. And we were all, quote unquote, excited for the W blah 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 radio show. And I had no idea who was on the bill. And the DJ asked me, he goes, hey, you know, on the bill tonight, there's a guy named Eric Gales. And I had just purchased your record, okay? It was the debut album, 1991. And there was a song called Sign of the Times. And I go, oh my God, that's the guy, Eric Gales. And I said, oh shit, I'm gonna get my ass kicked tonight. And quite frankly, I was right. I was like Nostradamus. Because I went up there and played, and I was like maybe 15 or 16 years old. And you came out and systematically made me look like a hobbyist, amateur, rebel, modelist, and laid waste to anything that I did. And I just want to say, quite frankly, I'm still scarred by all that. You changed me as a person. But my first question to you is, when I first heard you play, you, like all of the all-time greats, to me, have what I think is an endless stream of ideas. You solo, you can play bar after bar, even rhythmically, your chord choices, your melodic choices. How did you get to that point? Is it just something that comes natural, or did you go, I want to do something different with this guitar? You know, I want to do something different because I hear what I want to hear, but there's something in my mind that says, go to a different place. How do you come to that?
Man, I honestly have to say this is a massive, massive honor to be a guest on one of my all-time favorite of all time. I mean, of all time guitarists. That show, and correction, it was actually Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, that's right.
That we were in, and I will never forget it because I do remember Bloodline because you all were guys in a band. It was called Bloodline because the band members were the kids of famous older people, and that's hence the name Bloodline. All right.
That's right.
So, okay, so. My brother, who is one of my hugest influences, Eugene Gales, part of the original Eric Gales band, he said to me, man, there's this dude named Joe Bonamassa that's coming, that's playing in this band, and he may be a year or two younger than you. And I'm telling you, this dude can play. I said, okay, let me see what they're talking about. And I too have a scarring from that show. Yo, like, I tell this story several times. When I heard this kid, I was a kid too, But when I heard this kid playing, I said, you know what? Now it has finally come in my lifetime that there is another bad motherfucker that's gonna make me have to play my ass off. I will never ever forget that. I have not been right since, by the way. But to answer your question, man, I explained it like this. I very rarely ever pick up a guitar nowadays. Only when it's sound check time in a show. I'm listening to hip hop, watching Netflix, watching movies, and my mind is the farthest thing from guitar music when I'm not playing it. But in my early days, there was some serious woodshedding that happened. So me being 18 years younger than my oldest brother, he turned me on to everything that he was listening to, from Foghat, Vanilla Fudge, Blue Cheer, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, John Butcher, John Lee Hooker, Muddy Waters, Albert King, Chet Atkins, Roy Clark, Jerry Reed, Albert Lee, Wes Montgomery, Herb Ellis. He turned me on to all of that. So along with that, I also was being took to church every week by my mom, so I was raised in the church, so I had that bed too. So at the same time, I was also listening to the stuff of my era, which was 18 years old up the line. So I was listening to hip hop, R&B, and everything else. So it's a big pot of gumbo that came. So how it, I think, developed my mind to these different destinations that I like to take the listener on, it's because I have acquired so much information. I call it like your mind is like Google. So if you acquire all of the information, then after you get that and put it all in your toolbox, basically when you tap something into Google and hit the search engine, it goes right to it, correct?
Yeah.
Same with acquiring the information in your toolbox. When your heart and your mind feels like going avant-garde, or feels like going blues, or feels like going country western, or jazz, or funk, it goes right to it because you already have the information there. So that's how it works for me, and how my brain, sometimes I'm not always able to catch up with what my brain is thinking.
It's a great point, because one of the things, one of the people I learned from was a guitar player named Danny Gavin. When I first met him, he was like, kid, you know some stuff about the blues, but you don't know anything about Chet Atkins. You don't know anything about jazz. You don't know anything about all these Americana, guitar influences. And because it's like one of the things. It's like it's like when I was studying geometry in 9th grade. It's like, I'm not going to be a bridge builder. Who cares, right? But to have the information to draw upon, the influences, helps you on stage because it's, when we're on stage together, it's a musical conversation.
Absolutely.
And the more books you read, the more influences you have, the more you can have an intelligent conversation.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the great things about your playing is I hear when I listen to you play all the little, you just go, I'm gonna play a fancy chord, or I call them adult chords, but
grown-up chords.
You know how to make the guitar weep and moan and elicit the response and the emotion from the audience, but you also know how to, most importantly, I think where a lot of guitar players sometimes miss the boat, is the guitar can be used as a weapon as well. To hit the lead pick, I'm going to pin him in the back of the chest. And it's all about an emotional journey. Now, one of the things I do want to ask you, because the way you play and your technique, if you watch Eric, you play with what I would call the way Albert King played,
yes, sir.
High strings on top,
yes,
low
sir.
strings on the bottom. So when I try to steal your shit, I can't figure it out. So if you could do me a personal favor, can you put the fucking thing up here? So I can extract what I would like for my own personal gain. Did you ever try it the other way? Because you're left-handed, but did you ever try it traditionally the other way, low strings on top?
Well, that's a very, very good question. I'm very fucked up in the head, so with that being said, I play left-handed, but I actually write right-handed, so that's
Okay.
that's more confusing than none. But once I trying to hold the guitar right-handed. Let me answer that first. Looks as though I would be if I was asked to be on this ship by the merit of my guitar playing as a right-handed player, I would be at home right now. So that wouldn't happen. So I have no idea. It doesn't even equate. It doesn't even work for me. It doesn't make sense. So when I first picked up a guitar at 4 years old, I picked it up and immediately played something. And I was aware that my older brothers and uncles all played. Now, how they played, they all were left-handed too, by the way, so it just run in the family. But as a kid, that didn't dawn on me. I just picked up a guitar, and how I picked it up was left-handed upside down. And that was very comfortable for me. It never dawned on me that it was right or wrong, or, in my head, I thought that I was right-handed because to me, you should label how you play by the hand that does the most work. So for me, this is the hand that does the most work. So I thought I was right-handed for a long time. So I told you I've been fucked up for a long time.
That's how you learn. I believe notable southpaw players that have played right-handed, B.B. King being one of them.
Yes, sir.
Gary Moore.
Yes, sir.
He was left-handed and played right-handed. My father,
Ain't this
left-handed, plays right-handed. Here's the thing, we all I have a kind of a wacky sense of humor.
Me too, man.
I think one of the greatest pranks you could pull on a kid in a music shop would be just walk in a music shop, there he is, he's sitting there trying his guitar center, playing whatever riffs, polluting the
Right.
solo noise. Hey man, can I see that guitar? Yeah, no problem. Flip it upside down and just fuck him.
Fuck him.
Why the guitar? Why the guitar?
Man,
Because you picked up you're a very musical family.
Yes.
Your brothers, Eugene, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir.
House of music,
Yes, sir.
church, all
Yes,
these
sir.
influences. It could have been the Hammond B3, could have
could have
been the drums, could have been the
Yeah.
bass.
That's a very good question. Actually, my first love is the drums. That's why the first show you guys saw me do a drum solo. So how I got into rhythm was my brother would be playing Jimi Hendrix Wide Open. He would be playing Cream. He would be playing Eric Johnson, which is a really
Eric
big
Johnson.
badass friend of ours, and we love this guy. And he's one of the biggest influences that I could ever have, along with Frank Marino and Robin Trower and all of these cats. So I would be keeping timing on the floor with knives and forks. And that was my introduction to the drums. So I was actually a drummer first. And then I picked up guitar, bass, keys, a little bit of saxophone and things of that nature after. But honestly, I didn't aspire to be well known as a guitar player. I wanted to be a truck driver like my dad. And I entered into this contest and at 11 years old, and it got crazy. I got third place at the time, and then I entered again at 14 and won first place both days. And then it was 13 major record labels that wanted to sign me after that, and then I was off to the races. So
Signed with Electra Records.
I signed with Electra Records.
It's very interesting the parallels to Albert King, because Albert King, aka Albert Nelson,
Yes, sir.
was a drummer.
Ain't that
And
something?
he played on a lot of great blues albums as a drummer.
Wow.
And some of my favorite Albert King bootlegs is when he comes up. Obviously, it's a pickup band. He's just met
Right,
cats,
right.
and he's just screaming at the drummer. And
Yeah.
why is he yelling at the drummer? He goes, because he was a drummer himself.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I've always wanted to ask you is when you decided to make a career, because a lot of times, like I said, you're 11 years old, you're a child prodigy, you're ripping people's faces off with the guitar. Sometimes the career it's not a cognizant choice. Like with me, it wasn't. It was more of a crossfade. It was like, this is what I do, and every time I get in front of an audience, somehow they clap.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they clap, and I don't know why they pay attention to me, but I kind of like it.
I agree.
Was there a moment where you said, okay, because even when you were a kid, you signed a record deal. You know, I was on EMI. I wasn't cognizant of it. I was just, okay, this is just an extension of what I do. I've been doing it since I've been 4. Was there a moment where you said, okay, now this is it. I'm going to dedicate my life, because at the end of the day, the hard work starts when you sign on the dotted line and you get that record deal, and you're like, oh shit, I'm on Easy Street. I can tell people I'm on Electric Records or whatever. It's really not, because that's when the real work starts. So when was that moment that in your mind, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit. And I'm going to be a pro.
Well, for me, interesting fact. I was, very involved in the music program in junior high school, the other spectrum, such as marching band. I was in marching band and the section leader of the drum section. All my time in high school, I did not want my schoolmates to know that I knew how to play the guitar. I had no reason to tell them that I was a guitar player or anything like that. I tried to keep it all secret. For one reason is that if people know what I do that's attached to fame, I don't want them to meet me for that premise. I want them to meet me for the human being I am first. So with that being said, all that shit went out the window one day. I played Arsenio Hall show.
And his guitar player was badass too.
Absolutely.
I used to watch that. I'm like, man, that guy's ripping.
Absolutely. So I came to school the next day after performing on that show, and the whole school went crazy. Like, dude, why didn't you tell us? Now, it went even more crazy when I wasn't on there, and my godfather, Carlos Santana, was asked by Arsenio Hall, who do you think is the baddest ass guitar player up and coming now? I was 16 at the time, and out of his mouth poured this 16-year-old kid from Memphis named Eric Gales. And I said, wow, are you shitting me? There goes me trying to keep it quiet, because everybody knew. So, honestly, I would be in marching band, and I would be in marching band rehearsal till about 4:30, 5 o'clock after school. Then I would go to the studio and record the first record all night long, stay there, and go back to school the next morning. And while I was in school, I would tour only on the weekends. They had offered me a tutor, we can take you off. I said, no, I want to graduate and walk across the stage with the rest of my peers that I went to school with. So when I knew it was very, very serious is the moment I graduated, the album AOR or Art, there was a magazine that came out about and they had my graduation picture on the front. And it said, he's out, he's ready. That's when I knew it's some serious shit.
Eric, first of all, I mean what I said. I really think you're the best in the whole. I really do feel that the way you're playing the guitar right now is unparalleled to anybody. And it's an honor to have you on our show. It's an honor that you're on our cruise. And I'm even more honored to call you my friend. And we're gonna do a jam on Monday when we do our show out on the pool deck. And just so you know, we've already pre-discussed this. I'm gonna pick a song, and he and I are just gonna open up a can of whoop ass.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks for being on the show, man.
You guys are going to like this because I'm about to put my good friend on the spot. I've been thinking about this ever since I knew we were going to have an intimate chat. So He has to give me a yes or no answer to this question. And the question is, the next record that I do, what's the probability that I could get you to produce my next record?
First of all, my production fees are very expensive. I can tell you. The answer is yes, and the price is 2 Diet Cokes.
Oh!
Very glad